What's up, guys? Welcome to Gadgets 360, and we are live, as you can see, and we have a pretty cool unboxing for you today. And this is the brand new Oppo F11 Pro. So this phone was just launched yesterday at an event in Mumbai. We have a retail unit right here, and we're gonna take it out of the box, see what we get in it, and hopefully try and answer some of the burning questions. So I'm Ryder Serejo. I have with me my colleague Aditya Shenoy, and let's get started.
Yeah,
Aditya, yeah.
go ahead.
So for
So this
those,
is like a
yeah, you
new
want
phone from Oppo, and it's the successor to what the Oppo
F9
F9 Pro
Pro,
and the
yeah.
F9. So two new smartphones from Oppo there, and let's start with the price first.
Yeah, because that's going to be the biggest question I
Yeah.
think everyone's going to be asking. So
So it's priced at what 24,990 rupees, so
yeah,
around
25,000
yeah.
rupees for this phone. And basically, it competes with what the likes of the Vivo V15.
Yeah, the Vivo V15 Pro is somewhat similar. I would say it's identical, but it's priced
But
a little higher.
similar in the style. Like this one also has that pop-up camera. The V15 also has that
Yeah.
pop-up camera.
And in terms of competition, you have a lot of smartphones around the same price point. So you have the Asus Zenfone 5Z, you've got the Poco F1,
Yeah.
you've also got the Nokia 8.1. So this phone has its work cut out for itself. So
Yeah.
it better be good.
Okay, so we just go through the regular stuff. SIM eject tool. We get this
Case in the box.
hard plastic case, which is nice, frosted black
Now,
colors.
something that is interesting is that you have like a tiny rubber portion at the bottom.
Yeah.
Top is completely blank. It's primarily because
Of the
this
pop-up camera?
Yeah, so this phone has got a pop-up camera, because of which they've given a customized case in the box as well, which is a good addition because
It is.
when you buy this phone, it'll be really hard to find a case for it, isn't it?
That is true. And so for all those who are waiting for it, this is the F11 Pro, and I must say it is a pretty good looking phone.
Yeah, and also this kind of reminds me of the colors, at least. It kind of reminds me of the Oppo Find X, don't you think?
It does. It
So
does.
they have gone for a similar color here.
So this one that we have is called Thunder Black. You also get something called Aurora Green. But so yeah, so we have like a black strip, and you have purple hues on this corner. Sorry, yeah, I think dark pink hues on this corner, magenta almost, and a purplish hue on this corner. Pretty nice, pretty striking. Once again, like Realme, I think Oppo has gone for this vertical branding.
I think it's just so that when you are clicking a photo in portrait mode, people will be able to know, okay, what brand
Makes
of phone
sense,
you're
yeah.
using. And this also has that design by Oppo badging, which is similar to again the Find X here. Interesting bit now. I think this is where the pop-up selfie camera is
Yeah.
gonna pop.
So why don't we
out of.
power that on? I'll just quickly run through what else is left in the box. So there we have, sadly, a micro USB cable. But then again, this does have the Oppo's VOOC fast charging. So that's plus point, I guess. Here we have the
This is the flash charger.
The flash charger, like very OnePlus looking charger again.
I think in terms of the output, I think it's similar to what dash charge is. So this is a 5-volt 4 amp charger. So you're getting a 20-volt charger out of the box.
And for this price, obviously, you do get a headset. Once again, very Apple EarPods style headset, but a headset.
And that means it does have a 3.5mm headphone jack.
Yep.
So that's a good thing.
Let's keep this aside.
Set it up quickly.
Okay, so let's just maybe talk a bit more about the phone. I think most people would also want to know about the specifications of the phone.
So I think let's start with the display first.
Yeah.
So the display is what, a 6.5 inch? Yeah, so 6.53 inch display.
Yeah, it's an LCD panel though. It's not an AMOLED panel.
Yeah. So 6.53 inch display with no notch at the top.
Yep.
So it's primarily because the selfie camera is there in the pop-up module there. And it still has this tiny bezel at the bottom, doesn't it?
There is a bit of a chin at the bottom. If you can, I'll just hold this up pretty close. So as you can see on the top, it's pretty bezel-less, like this very thin black bezels all around. But towards the bottom, you do still have a bit of that chin.
Yeah. And this is the aspect ratio is 19.5:9. Yep. And I believe Oppo is saying that this has a 90.90% screen to body ratio. That's like close to 91% screen to body ratio, which is quite impressive.
It is, and it looks pretty slick also, if I'm being pretty honest. The size, it does feel a little thick, but then again, I don't think that's really that big a deal. I mean, we'll have to see how that feels when we are using it on a day-to-day basis. So I think we have a few questions coming in. Anand is asking for 20,000 rupees, Samsung A50 or the Oppo F11, not the Pro version.
Okay, so in terms of hardware, I think if you're talking about the Oppo F11, that too has the Helio P70 SoC.
It's the same thing, but without the pop-up camera.
So, and whereas when you're talking about his other phone was the A50. So A50 is a new processor. Yeah. So we are in the process of testing the Samsung Galaxy A50. It has a new processor. It's the Exynos 9 series something.
Yep.
So what I would we'll be able to tell you. I'd say that the A50 kind of looks better for me primarily because it has an AMOLED panel. F11 doesn't have an AMOLED panel here, and in terms of the UI as well, it runs on Android 9 Pie. Whereas this thing, I think it's also been updated too.
Yeah, this one is also Android 9 Pie. We'll take a look at all those features quickly. But as of now, I think, Anand, if you can just hold on a bit, because we've just got this phone and we are in the process of actually testing the A50. So we should have a sure shot verdict for you maybe in the next few weeks.
Yeah.
So while it's being set up, let's just, for all those who are joining us right now, we've just unboxed the Oppo F11 Pro. This is a brand new flagship phone from Oppo that was just announced yesterday. And this phone is priced at 24,990 rupees or 25,000 rupees in India.
And this is running ColorOS 6, which means that it's running Android 9 Pie as well.
Yep, so ColorOS 6 is again Oppo's long-awaited refresh of their OS. We first saw it in the Realme 3 just recently, and I think this is the second one in India to have this thing.
And something that kind of makes this phone really special, okay, is the pop-up camera. And let's see if we can get it to pop up.
I think if we switch it to the first one.
Probably.
There we go. So it is only okay. So it's a
pop-up selfie camera.
Pop-up selfie camera. Interesting. So this is 16. Okay, so that's good. We come to the cameras. Mayank is asking about the camera specs. Okay. So you want to go through it?
Yeah. So in terms of the cameras on the smartphone, it's got a dual camera setup at the back with a 48 megapixel primary sensor and a 5 megapixel depth sensor. In terms of the selfie camera, the pop-up selfie camera that we just demoed is a 16 megapixel sensor, and it's kind of it sits behind the display panel.
Yeah.
So you don't have a notch or anything else. They've also cleverly pushed the large earpiece grill that they put here. I think it'll be interesting to check how it performs when it comes to call quality and all the other stuff there.
Definitely. So let's maybe show the ladies and gentlemen that little trick again. So I'm just going to switch to the front camera. As you can see, it pops up, goes down. So this is going to happen, I think, guessing even if you use face unlock, every time you unlock the phone or tilt the phone towards you, it's going to pop up that front camera and then, slide it back down again.
And it's not like you'll have to rely on face recognition entirely because it has a regular fingerprint scanner at the back. So you can use that to unlock it. Does it make any sound?
Also, I was just checking that, and interestingly, I can't hear any motor sounds. Okay. So it's pretty quiet. I think the Find X, when it was going in and out.
So it doesn't have that noise here.
Okay, so we have a few questions coming in. Don't you think the price is too high?
Ahmad Ansari is asking us. Don't you think the price is too high? Well, honestly, I do think the price is a little high because when you're looking at the specifications of this particular smartphone, it's powered by the Helio P70 SoC, has a full HD plus panel, and these specs are somewhat similar to the Realme U1. Okay, and that is available under 15,000 rupees. So for this phone,
the Realme 3 as well, right?
Yeah, the Realme 3 has an HD plus panel, because of which I would say that okay, the under 10,000 rupee price is kind of justified. With the U1, I would say this pretty much in terms of spec, it's really close to the Realme U1. Yeah. But for this, I think Oppo is charging a premium for the way it looks. It's also charging a premium for the cameras because it's a 48 megapixel. It's a bigger sensor here, and the pop-up selfie camera.
Because I'm guessing, like you see, the engineering of that would, add to the cost.
So that is what is adding to the cost, and also I think the fast charger. because
Yeah.
I don't remember if the Realme U1 came with a 20
No,
watt
I don't
fast
think any
charger
of the
box.
budget
Yep.
ones had that. And
So
also, this seems to be a metal frame, although we'll have to confirm that, but it feels pretty chunky and solid to hold. So,
yeah, it does feel like a metal frame.
so Shahrukh Pathan is asking, what is the battery capacity? That's a good question. Give me a quick second while I check that.
The battery capacity
Do you know
is
that off the top of
4000
your head?
milliamp hour.
Oh yeah, it is
Yeah,
4,000.
so it's a 4000 milliamp hour
Thanks.
battery, and it's a good thing that they've given a VOOC flash charger bundle with the Pro at least. Primarily because when you have a battery capacity that is this big, it will take a really long time to charge, and
Yeah.
that way you're not going to be waiting for this phone to charge completely.
That's true. So let's just maybe take a quick
I'm actually
tour.
having second thoughts if this is a metal frame or a plastic frame, because when you look at the cut over
The
here,
edges,
yeah,
right?
the
Yeah.
edges, it,
It
not
doesn't
not
really
100%
seem
sure if
metal.
it's metal.
It could be.
It can be really high quality plastic, because of which, but it does feel premium nonetheless.
It does feel premium. So again, let's take a quick tour. At the bottom, you have all your usual ports. Again, bummed to see micro USB instead of a Type C, especially at
Yeah.
this price. I mean, come on, Oppo.
Now look at all the other smartphones that have launched recently, right? You have the Redmi Note 7, the Redmi Note 7
Exactly.
Pro,
Yeah.
around the 10 to 15,000 rupee price point. Those phones have the USB Type C port. You've got the Samsung M20, M30, A30, A50. All of these have Type C ports. And then you have Oppo and Vivo launching their smartphones around the 25 and 30,000 rupee mark with a micro USB port. So I think it's time that Oppo and Vivo also take note and upgrade to the USB Type C port.
Yeah, that's true. So the F11 Pro, there's just one version that's launched in
Yeah.
India. This one will have 6 GB of RAM and 64 GB of storage. But oddly, the
Yeah.
F11, which is actually priced under 20,000 rupees, will have 4 GB of RAM but 128 GB of internal storage,
Yeah, so
which
that's-
is a little odd, I would say. But other than that, I think so far the phone it's a little hefty, I would say. Like I
It
mean,
is. It is. I think it has
It
to
does
do
feel a little
with the pop-up sliding module, because they had to make space for it behind the display, and when you also have the camera module here,
Yeah.
so that is probably one of the reasons why the phone is thick. And I think they've made use of it by giving it a big 4000 milliamp hour battery as well. And I do have a feeling that this might be a glass panel at the back, but there's really, I think
we'll have to
test
do a scratch test to see.
yeah, so that's pretty much all that you can talk about the Oppo F11 Pro here.
But maybe we can talk about the competition. Like what, like this is going on sale now. Should people even consider this? I mean, we've not tested it. I mean, the 40 MP rear camera could be pretty good and everything. And the P70 is not a bad performer. But although I would, for nearly 25,000 rupees, that's a little overpriced for that kind of an SoC. But what do you think? Like, I think the V15 Pro is a little higher, around 28.
Yeah, so the V15 Pro is
I
around 28 to 29,000 rupees.
Yeah.
It has a more powerful Snapdragon 675 SoC as well.
Yep.
With this particular smartphone, I think the highlight is this pop-up selfie camera. And
Yeah.
the only other phones I can think of with that pop-up selfie camera is the Vivo Nex, which is even
Yeah.
after discounts, I think it's still close to 40,000 rupees or probably 36,000 rupees.
And that's an 845.
Yes, that is an 845. So for people who don't want to spend a lot, this is a good option, because you're getting it close to 10,000 rupees cheaper than
Yep.
the Vivo Nex. And that is, I think, the pretty much can be the only pull that is bringing people to this phone, or probably the design.
Right.
Apart from that, for someone who's looking at the spec sheet and looking for performance, then I would say that you have got better options in this particular price range, especially with the Asus Zenfone 5Z and the Poco F1, which have
Yep.
got like Snapdragon 845 SoCs
Yep.
and liquid cooling there. So I would personally pick up the Zenfone 5Z over this one.
Interesting. So I think again, for those who may have joined us right now, we were unboxing the F11 Pro. Let's quickly go through the box contents. You basically get this VOOC fast charger. You get the VOOC fast charging cable. That's still micro USB. You get this headset, and you get this little case along with
And this
other.
phone, of course.
Yeah, and the phone. Yeah. So Emma Ansari is again asking us another question. Do you think the F11 will release in the future as the Realme 4 Pro for under 15? Interesting.
Okay, so he's talking about the F11 or the F11
Oh,
Pro?
the F11. I'm sorry, my bad.
Okay. So I have my doubts about it releasing as the
Yeah.
Realme 4 Pro, because well, I think it'll have to have a more powerful processor, doesn't it? Because
Yeah,
it cannot have a P70 again.
true that, and like the Realme 3 was only just launched, right? Realme 3 Pro is yet to come. I think around April they teased
Yeah.
it. So it'll be a while before the Realme 4 Pro comes along, and by that time, I think we'll have moved on to maybe newer chipsets by then. So
And this is just a random guess, but probably the Realme 4 can have a Snapdragon 675.
that is a possibility. That is a possibility. We just have to wait and
Yeah.
see, I guess. But I don't think Realme will probably repackage this phone and sell it as a Realme 4. I don't think that will happen. AVJ has asked Samsung A50 or F11. Oh, this is the same question that we had earlier. A lot of people want to know A50 or F11, which is the best in cameras.
Okay, so we are in the process of testing the Samsung A50 and we've just got the Oppo F11 Pro out of the box. So
Yeah.
I think at this point we won't be able to say which one is the best. But I think you guys can stay tuned to guys360.com where we are going to put in-depth reviews of both these smartphones, and based on that we will be able to tell you which has the better camera between the two.
Yep. So for those who are just tuning in, we are discussing the F11 Pro. Let me just take it out of this ugly cover. And so if you have any queries or any questions about Oppo's latest flagship that they just launched yesterday, do send them in, and we'll be happy to try and answer them for you. So this is what the phone basically looks like. This is the thunder purple color. It's a massive fingerprint magnet, as you can see probably. And the big highlight is, of course, it's got a 48 megapixel rear camera, and it's got a pop-up selfie camera like the V15 Pro, which slides up just like that. Goes back down, goes back up. So that is basically the main highlight of this phone. Other specs are like the Helio P70, which is a decent SoC. You get 6 GB of RAM, you get 64 GB of storage. And of course, this is running on ColorOS 6, so this is based on Android 9 Pie, which is good. So Deadly Gamers is asking us Note 7 Pro ka review when?
When? So Deadly Gamers, I think
We'll wait a bit.
you'll have to
We're
wait
in
a
the
bit.
process, yeah.
We are in the process of doing it. जल्दी आ जाएगा review. You'll have to stay tuned for that. But अगर आपके पास ये phone के लिए कोई सवाल है, this is the Oppo F11 Pro. You can go ahead and ask us that. And since we have the device, we'll be able to answer that question quickly.
Yeah, so I think again, JVJ is asking when will we have the full review of this phone and the A50. The A50 full review should drop a lot sooner, hopefully sometime this week. But the F11 Pro, we'll try and get it out as soon as possible for you guys. So stay tuned for that. So again, for all those who are watching, thanks for tuning in. This was our first look at Oppo's brand new flagship called the F11 Pro. We'll be sure to bring you a full review soon. And for all things tech, if you want the latest updates on technology, you can stay tuned to gadgets360.com, and you can also follow us on all our social channels like from Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, of course. So thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you in the next one.